Love means never having to say you're sorry.
That's a lie.
Okay.
It's a real lie.
It was a good movie though, wasn't it?
No, because it was a lie.
So today we're going to be dealing with hurt feelings.
Right.
And how much of that do you think is unaware and how much do you think is intentional in relationships?
Well, it really depends on what is behind that particular conversation. You know, if you got a bitter argument about perpetual problems, those are those things that you'll have no matter what. Even if you're with someone different, it might be a little bit different set of problems, but you're still going to have a little cluster of things that you just don't really appreciate about the person. And the way you stay together is because you've decided that this little pot of perpetual problems is not a deal breaker. And so when the perpetual problem comes up, you don't have to be in control and try to beat the other person down to win. I mean, have you ever asked people what is it that you're really after? Do you have to win this argument, or do you want this person to know that you love and value them even though you don't agree on this particular topic?
And you'd be surprised how many people say, I want to win.
No!
My point was, I got to have the edge. I meant to hurt you.
Which is why I don't play a lot of games, table games, because I'm a psychotic individual. I'm going to cheat you. It's going to carry over in other different places now. Oh, no, you ain't going to beat me at Monopoly and then talk about, could you hand me something? No. Get it yourself. You the millionaire. You know, so I try not to play games because I know what that brings out in me. My competitive, I got to win this at all costs, self.
And that's, if I were to look at it, especially in my therapy sessions that I do with people, I love doing play therapy with kids because you learn so much in competition. If you got an Uno game, Connect Four, something happens to people when they get into that game thing and they become less concerned about hurting. Matter of fact,
they're going for it.
The whole Kendrick Lamar thing,
yeah.
I think if I look back at old school, Dozens was, okay, if you want to enter this game, you better be ready.
And you better take it well.
Yeah, and I'm not going to apologize because I'm going to talk about your mom. I'm going to talk about whatever gets you.
Everything.
But the deal of the Dozens was always, you didn't fight. You just learned.
That's how you won.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something that our current generations don't have. And I know people think I'm nuts when I say we need to play the Dozens. Now, I actually played with my son because he didn't have anyone in his age group, you know, older cousins that were close enough in age group to do it for us. And so my mom said, well, you know, this is really kind of crazy. You talking about me and he's talking about you. But it was to try to build up that inner strength to stop him from just losing it and blowing everything. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about when feelings get hurt in these most intimate relationships. How is it that you're able to say that hurt me in a way without destroying the entire relationship to the point where it can't come back? And you know, we've met people that stayed together and they can't stand each other. Mm-hmm. I don't want that in my life.
No.
Under any circumstance.
That's a deal breaker for me. No, because of the kids, and I got the house, and I don't want to lose this piece of money. No, my peace is always more important than someone's presence that's making me miserable. But you're right. There's a lot of people that they just embrace that pain as a normal thing, when actually you don't have to live in that kind of space.
I'm not going to be good with you running around here calling me a whole bunch of names that ain't even close to the name that God gave me or my mama gave me. That ain't going to be working.
And the other part of that too is I value our intimacy, our love, all those things that make us us. I value that too much to do something that's going to jeopardize that.
So then when you are seeing red, and I've literally seen it before. I used to think it was just some kind of crazy little statement, but I've seen it before. So when you're seeing red, how do you stop yourself from going all in on them?
That's what you do. You stop. You realize this right here has the potential to jeopardize what we love the most. So yeah, I've learned how to this is the moment to not say anything, especially if it's going to cause more collateral damage than what I could ever
repair.
And that goes back to maturity too, because I'm always thinking about the end result of something I do, even though in the moment we may be, and we've never just had that kind of back and forth.
Not you and I, because we grown now.
Well,
But if we had grown up together.
we're grown, and we're also in love, and we value that. I mean, and I don't think that's ever going to happen, because what's important to us is always more important than what we're going through right now. Imagine what our life would be like if something was said or done, and at the end of the day, I don't want to be in the bed with you. I don't even be in the same room with you.
Please fall asleep, because I'm going to work with your remote control.
No.
You can be kissing that ceiling.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to help you.
But look at that. But look at that.
I'm serious.
That's in the same room. I'm talking about us being. It's like no. Imagine this. You can have the remote. You can have the bed. You can have the house.
You can have
the money.
Yeah. Goodbye.
And as soon as I say I'm gonna go somewhere, what do you say? I'm joking around saying I'll just leave. What do you say?
Well, as long as it ain't outside, I'm going with you too. Because I ain't camping. I'm not camping. I'm not that person.
Now listen to that quality of difference, and it's a lot of it's human based and stuff too, but it's still saying whatever's going on now is not important, more important than what we
had
had.
those discussions, because I still have that underlying thing of some things that happened to me as a child in grade school, that underlying thing of abandonment. And sometimes you'll say, hey, da-da-da-da, and I'm thinking, okay, we're not on the same side anymore. What's he saying over there? And I'll say, no, I don't like it when this conversation comes up, because I think, are you leaving me? It's like, look, I gotta get all this stuff packed, because I gotta follow you now, because you ain't leaving me. I need to know, am I crazy here? Do I let you go? What's up? What are you really saying to me? But deep down inside, I'm saying, what's happening?
Now, how do you get that back? First of all, if you lose it, and how do you gain it if you never had it?
One of the things that I had to learn, you taught me a lot about being married, because I've been alone much longer than I was ever with anyone. And one of the things that I learned for myself in the process was, at the end of the day, where do I want to be? I want to be with you at the end of the day. And so if I got to let that go by and come back and address it at a time when we're not as emotionally invested in it, if I can't play board games, because even though I feel like I'm a little aggressive, you're a little bit more aggressive. And I don't want that to turn on something in me where I got to get a billy club to win. So, you see what I'm saying? I'm thinking, no, I can't play this game with you, because you're a little bit serious in there. This might not come back right. If I just need to just stop and let it be, I'm willing to do all of that, because my end of the day goal is to be with you.
There you go.
Period.
Likewise.
I can let all that go.
Now, what if you haven't had it? See, that's us having it. And we know at the end of the day, I'm not going to sacrifice
You do know
that.
people that are still fighting to be together, but it sure don't sound like fighting to be together. It sounds like fighting to break up to me. And I've asked the question, why would you ever say something or do something to this person that you claim you love, and then want to come back and act like it's just nothing? So back to the conversation about perpetual problems. That's a John Gottman and his friends' concept, that you'll always have a little pot of issues with the other person, but it's something that you can agree to disagree on. They become deal breakers when you can't agree to it. And you might be with this couple and see them 30 years from now, and they have the same little pot of stuff that they still fussing over. I really wouldn't advise you trying to get in between them and this little pot of stuff. I think you just let them cook that pot of stuff the way they do it. But I've seen people, and I'm listening to them, and in my mind, those are deal breakers. You're not going to be calling me any old name. You know, you're not going to go out here. And I don't want to ever have to wonder if you're being unfaithful, because that turns on something different. And I learned in my early 20s, if I got to investigate you, I got to let you go. I will not investigate you. Because what that means is then my needs aren't being met and I don't have to prove nothing. I come to you and I say, listen here, my needs aren't being met. I'm feeling the need to investigate you. And we don't want to turn that on in me. We want to let that go. And you insist on it, then I got my other choices where I could leave the relationship. I learned in my 20s that forever is not, what is it, infinite, a finite. I believe that forever can be a finite number. Because if my needs ain't being met, ain't no point in me in here thinking about killing you over it. I just need to walk away. And so when feelings get hurt, we need to make an honest apology. How do I know it's a real apology? Because you don't do the same stupid stuff to me again. Right? You don't repeat it.
And what I think too that helps create that that bond, that, hey, the context is I need to be with you at the end of the day, is you discuss what does it take to create that. We can do all the warning signs. Don't do this, because if you do this, this is going to trigger this in me. That's a whole lot different conversation than saying, okay, what would it take for us to be the best part of each other's day? How do we create that? And I think we created by starting at text messages. Well, not just the text messages. We're doing a lot of stuff in the morning before we leave, all the way to walking you to your car, making sure you get in there all right, and, you know, giggling and doing all kind of stuff.
A little lip pressing.
A little lip pressing. Back and forth during the day, making sure you know my schedule for the day. And then as the day draws nigh, if it's not Taco Tuesday, then we already know, okay, what we're going to eat. Do you want me to pick up something on the way home? Because everything is building toward that. So I think part of creating it is setting up some type of template of what it looks like. And then you do it, and then you constantly remind each other of it if you don't do it. And then if you lose desire for a person, you got to be honest enough with them to say, if we did all of that, I'm just not feeling you. And don't drag it on thinking that the process is going to make that change. Because I've just seen it has not. And then people live the lie.
Well, we got to make the note to talk about intimacy at that level.
Oh, yeah.
One of these conversations, is that okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
for adults only, intimacy. We gonna go all the way in, y'all. It's got to be tight and right, or not at all. Ooh, that's the good part of our relationship. You don't want to let us home. We might make folks feel bad and say, we gotta have all that. Yeah, you gotta have all that. I'll live. But yeah, that's a good point. That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I have to love you. You have to love me. We have to crave each other, desire each other. You turn me on. You make me feel like I can be 17 again and do that.
Like this.
Yeah, baby. Don't get me started. Okay.
Get yourself together.
All right. Thank you for tuning in with us today. We hope this has been helpful. It's definitely crucial. And be prepared for that next segment that we will talk about, that talks about intimacy and what that looks like. Because once that's in place, a lot of this other stuff is a byproduct of it anyway.
And how do you repair it when it goes wrong, when there's hurt feelings? Authentically apologize and don't repeat the stupid stuff.
Yeah, and realizing there's some barriers that you cannot cross.
Absolutely.
Because once you cross it, it's irreparable. You can't fix that. And staying together to be miserable should not ever be an option.
Praise God. Take good care of yourselves.
Goodbye.